Hey, I'm probably more of the techie guy than you are. Welcome to the show, everybody, by
Yes.
the way. We're going to get right into a very serious topics today. I have lost,
Let's get it hyped
yeah,
up.
let's get it hyped up. I've lost no AirPods, no Apple Watches, no phones, but I know people that do frequently. And I'm not saying you're that person, but if you had to choose between all of the technology that we've gotten with AirPods, Bose, all of the Beats by Dre, everything, and then you revert back to, or if you revert back to the older stuff, isn't the older stuff sometimes better?
Yeah, I mean, I got to tell you, so as you know, and I'll show on camera, I mean, just here
Yeah.
right now, I got three different AirPods. And so about 3 weeks ago, I had a really important phone call, but I wasn't in my office. And I was in between like things I had to do, right? I mean,
Yeah.
you've been in those
Oh,
positions.
yeah.
Like I have shit to do, but I got to. So anyway, I have this like epiphany moment. And an hour and a half meeting that I knew I had to sit there with my phone to my ear because the AirPods that I was around were not charged. And I'm like, it's probably happened to all of you out there. Like this is first world problems. I understand.
Right.
I'm not trying to act like it's no drinking water or something like that. Like I'm pretty aware that this is a first world problem. So I just kind of said, I'm going to go in order just the old school. And for those of you who don't watch on YouTube, go watch on YouTube. I went back to the old
I can't
plug it into the
believe you did that.
phone, and I got to tell you, I've been doing it exclusively except for when you and I talk on here or I'm doing a podcast with somebody.
Yeah.
That's the only time I go wireless, which I don't even really need to do. I could just plug the wire into here and be fine. I just like, I have more head movement than most people, and I don't want it like clanking on my desk. But I'm off the AirPods, and I got like 1,000 pairs of them, and I just go. I'm just tired of like always having to worry to charge them. Always are they charged, or at times like you have to wiggle them in there because they're not charging the same. I just go, you know what? Let me get some wire. I can't believe how happy I
I
am.
can't believe you're saying this. I really can't believe this is coming out of your mouth because that's one of the things I mean, you're always on the go. Either if you're working on a car, you're around a car, you're on
Yeah.
location somewhere. Obviously, you're on calls in your car all the time. I never would have thought that a wired connection would be what you would want to revert back to because sometimes doesn't the wire get caught up? Like you're in the car, you're working
Sure.
around a car.
Yeah. Look, I've gotten the wire caught up. I've had to adjust my movements. Like still, if I'm working on a car, I do wear AirPods. Obviously, it's just because you move around so much. I just want to listen to music or a podcast or whatever. But just my everyday phone calls, things that I have to handle, meetings that I have to be in, it's all wired now. Like even I was on a meeting with you yesterday on some things, and I was in my car. That was wired.
Sounded very
I,
good.
I yeah, I wired, through. Got to get used to it. Look, for those of you who haven't been on wired, you can get it caught on some things on your desk, and you can definitely have some moments. But I don't know how everybody else feels. They probably have stuff this has happened to. I see all these people wearing wearables, and they got Whoop straps on, and I mean, have we just gotten crazy?
Well,
Have we?
dude, this is segueing perfectly into one of the topics that we had on today's agenda anyway. But I will say I was late to the AirPod game. Like I always have them on me now, obviously, but I was wired for the longest time. And the first wireless I went into was the Bose, like you would wrap around your neck. Dude, I had two fucking AirPods hanging on my chest like I had, earpieces in at all times for years
Yeah.
and years. And then finally I just broke down and got the AirPods because my wife was raving about them. And it was a game changer. When people describe like advancements in technology, they always go back to the AirPod, and I never really got it. Didn't really think it was for me. My wife was like, they look like jizz from like the Ben Stiller movie where it's like hanging out of his head. And I'm like, you know what? They really do. She's like, I can't get them in black. I was like, no, they don't make them in black. But anyway, now I have them. But I mean, I agree with you. The wired connection was always a solid audio and microphone.
Well, and the other thing is, as your AirPods age, they go in and out while you're talking to people.
Yeah.
Like for the person on the other end.
Yep.
I've had none of those complaints in 3 weeks. Like, will I stay this way forever? I don't really know, but I know that I got so frustrated. I'm like, and by the way, it costs like $18 for the highest quality one of these. What are AirPods now? A couple $100?
Yeah, if you want some decent ones, they're like 150.
Yeah. I mean, this is $20. I mean,
Even that's expensive. I mean, I guess inflation and all that, but I figured that was at least $7 at this point. Like, why are the prices?
yeah, I mean, I'm sure you could find one, but I mean, I got it like the Apple one, so it's, I just look at it and I go, I don't know how long I'm going to be here. This is one of those things you buy a car, you're not sure about it. You're like, I don't know how much I'm going to love this thing, But this is one of those ones I'm like, I'm good with it right now. I got so pissed off that day that I literally got off the call. I had something else to do. I got off the call and
Threw the
ordered them.
AirPods.
100%. I mean,
Against the
100%.
wall. And every time they fall, they always go. They ever go everywhere. Like felt
Everywhere.
like I never find-
Nothing goes everywhere like two AirPods to get
Dude.
dropped or thrown or whatever.
Dude, this happened yesterday, and it literally fell, and it even sounded like it hit that hard, just went like that, and it took me 15 minutes to find the left AirPod. Like, there's no way it went this far. I was so annoyed.
100%.
But let's get into some car talk and car information here. I got so many things going on in the car world that I wanted to talk to you about this week. But at the top of the list this week was Bugatti. Are you a Bugatti fan?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, fan is one of those things where you go, I mean, the Chiron was probably a big moment for a lot of us, right? I mean, that was kind of like, I don't know, mainstream, more mainstream than the Bugatti brand, normally, Chiron, Veyron, those were sort of like, Bugatti's always been around, right?
Yeah.
But for the mainstream, because like when they hit and the more visibility, you look at the visibility of Bugattis now through social media. Like I think Bugatti it has done a pretty good job of staying true to themselves, which I think I kind of respect.
Yeah, I mean, talk about a unique, bespoke kind of a brand, right? So Bugatti is sold out until 2029 when it comes to this Tiburon. Well, I guess it would be pronounced
Tourbillon.
tourbillon because it's a French word, but I'm Mexican, so it always comes out like a Spanish word. But regardless, so this 1,800 horsepower car is going to keep the company busy until 2029. So apparently they're already sold out. If you want one, too late. You can't even get one anymore. I think it's going to be limited to 500. But I got another screen here that I'm going to pull up for you with images of it. I've never driven one. Have you driven any of the past?
I haven't driven it. Driving it, I've had some Chirons that we've taken care of that I've gotten to sort of move around and that kind of. But drive it. No, I haven't like driven it like people are thinking.
What an absolute crazy machine, right? I'm sure. Like here's some images if you guys are watching on YouTube. Pronounce the word again for me, Nick, because you're so much a savant when it comes to these.
Isn't
words.
it tourbillon or tourbillon or whatever? I don't know. I'm not great.
Tourbillon.
That thing looks awesome, dude.
This thing looks awesome. Looks absolutely incredible. There's something about it.
Look, they have stayed true, right? I mean, this is kind of the thing that we want from a builder like this is that the back end's a little McLaren-ish for me.
Mm-hmm.
I would still love to see, that they're sort of old styling, but they have to update it, and it looks great. They kept the front end, exactly how they should. And look, one of the things you have to say about a company like Bugatti is, Ferrari's not the Ferrari of old. Mm-hmm. Lambo's not the Lambo of old for obvious reasons. I'm not banging on them. They've made good business decisions to grow their brand and those types of things, but Bugatti's one of those ones that they just go, sort of like Rolls-Royce to me. Rolls-Royce just kind of stays in the pocket of Rolls-Royce,
mm-hmm.
right? Bugatti stays in the pocket of Bugatti, and that's a lot harder than people think because Bugatti has gotten bigger and bigger and bigger, a bigger profile. It's easy to go chase, let's go do this, let's go do that. They've just sort of stayed in the pocket, and that's to be celebrated, I think.
Yeah, one of the interesting things about the article, this was through Motor One. They sat down with them, had a conversation with either them or Carbuzz or a combination of the two, and they were describing how easy it is for a company like this to plan for the future, like plan what's next when you already have this much room of runway with cars you put together, produce, and manufacture, whatever.
Yeah,
that way, 3, 4, 5 years in the future, you've had so much time to like actually get your footing about whatever's next, and they're never like guessing, or they're never like running against the clock. They have so much runway, and I thought that was fascinating.
Well, I think if anybody, I want to give a shout out. There was a really good interview coming out of Monterey Car Week with the Rivian CEO,
mm-hmm.
I believe on DeMuro's podcast,
mm-hmm.
Which again, we like to give a shout out when people do great things. I thought it was a good interview with that group. And he was talking about how like they're having to call other car companies and go, hey, what are you doing with your wire harnesses with all these tariff things, right?
Mm.
Like, and he made a good point. He goes, I don't think people realize that it's more collaborative for our car companies during this uncertain time to like figure out what we're doing. And he had some pretty interesting points. And I know people always ask us about tariffs, and I'm not going to sit here and act like we're tariff experts around the globe and the impact. But the funny part he said is he goes, I don't think we're going to change much manufacturing from Canada and Mexico. Like, we're not going to eliminate those suppliers, but there are suppliers from any country but there that we're going to really look at. What do we have to do to bring it on shore, or bring it into Mexico, or bring it into Canada, or bring it onto the shores near us? And I thought that was interesting because he was really well spoken about the challenges, but also calming down, like, hey, yes, we're having to watch it every day, and it's been in flux for a long time now, it seems like, for a business. He goes, but you're not just going to rip stuff out of Mexico, because what you think is after this term is up for this presidency, that stuff can normalize again. So us just pulling it out, for all the people that keep believing all of this stuff is going to come on shore of America, he kind of painted a different picture. He painted a picture of sort of if it's in the North America world between these three countries, that there really is not an issue, right? Like, they're just going to accept it, they're going to absorb it, they're going to pass it on, but they are going to look at how do we really not do business with China. And he made it pretty clear. He thinks that the days that there's going to be contentious with China for the foreseeable future, no matter who's in office. And I think it was interesting for him to say that on record.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to go listen to that. And it's funny that you bring this up, man. We're always in sync, ladies and gentlemen. Nick and I are always in sync. So there was a comment left yesterday, one of the shorts from a video that was a show that was a couple of weeks ago. But, like I say, the reels are about a week apart from when the episodes launch. And it was about tariffs. It was about Toyota in particular, I believe, and the tariffs and the Japan deal or whatever. And look, shorts are meant to spark curiosity, interest, go listen to the full thing. The problem with today's world is that once you're invested in a short, whether it's 30 seconds all the way up to 90 seconds and beyond, you get invested in what was said in that little bitty window. So I love politics. People know this. People that know me know I love politics. So it was, it's because tariffs are a political conversation piece.
Sure.
This person, it's one of these big channels that I'd actually been consuming for a long time, and they're like, the 1.5, 2 million type of subscribers. Commented something about what a stupid video. That's not how tariffs work, right? And I read it, and I gave the same context to myself. I'm like, hey, it was 50 seconds. The show's an hour. Like,
and we've broken down tariffs endlessly on this podcast. And again, for all of you listening in audio form, or you're watching the long form on YouTube, you're consuming podcasts the correct way.
Yes.
Right? It doesn't matter whose it is. It doesn't matter if it's ours or anybody's. Shorts are meant to get us out into the ether so you come listen to the full episode. It's a pretty basic economic plan. I mean, there's not really much more to it, right? It's like Walmart wants you to walk through the door and buy stuff. That's pretty much their business model, right? The business model of a short for long form content is that you go consume the long form YouTube video of somebody building the whole car, right? They may show you replacing the brakes, but they want you to go watch the full build video. It's not really rocket science, but it is to people. And if you're telling me these people have 1.5 million to 2 million followers and they left a comment, it shows you how not common sense some of the world is. That person is very well aware of what a short is.
Yeah.
And they still get worked up of like, that's not how tariffs work. Guys, I realize that it's not directly on MSRP. We're in the middle of a conversation, and I'm giving simplistic math for people to understand what could happen. And oh, by the way, I had to say this to somebody recently, and I'll say it to everyone listening. You're going to be closer to the way that I described it than further away from that.
Well, that was exactly my point, man, because everybody likes to cite the studies and the data that's coming in. Most everybody is absorbing a large chunk of these tariffs, to which I said, hey, we've said that before too. Mercedes, we've talked about Mercedes, extensively. Some of these brands will absorb a lot of it. Find me the data that says Toyota and Lexus is going to absorb the majority of anything that they incur. They've already posted one of the biggest losses for a quarter, I believe, not too long ago. So how long is that going to continue? I don't know. I said, but check out.
Well, and then let me say this: absorbing things in the short term doesn't mean you're going to do it forever.
Yeah, of course.
This is what people need to understand. The reason a lot of companies, not just car companies, are absorbing now is because they think it could end, right? Yeah. And they go, we don't want to make a drastic decision to our business model if this tariff is going to end. The more that it gets set in stone and it's a year in, that's when you're going to see exactly how they feel about absorbing cost. So the ignorance about tariffs, and again, I will state this, I am not a tariff expert, but think of it logically. if I absorb something for 6 months and I watch that 6 months and I go, oh, this is here to stay, am I more or less likely to absorb it for the next 2 to 3 years?
All I'm saying. All I was saying.
Okay, it's not difficult to understand. Absorbing something for a quarter, for 2 quarters is much different than saying they're going to do it for the next 12 quarters.
Yeah.
Those things don't correlate.
Yeah.
So again, let's talk about tariffs in the car business. It's becoming very clear in the economy that the tariff impact has really not hit the economy yet. Mm-hmm. Every smart economist that you should trust, that I should trust, is saying, wait till the second half of this year, then we're going to see the data start rolling in, then we can really see the impact of all of this. So even people that live and die by these numbers and are experts in that field go, we don't really know yet. Yeah. We got to let the tariffs really hit, really set into the economy, then we got to see what happens. So for all the channels out there, for all the listeners out there, we aren't tariff experts, but I can tell you, absorbing something short term to see what happens is a business move. Then when you see what happens, you make a more long-term decision for the next 24, 36 and beyond. So that is what I think is probably most likely to happen.
Yeah, I don't think they could argue with the video as well that we put out where we just said, look, a lot of these numbers are lagging. All these indicate forever.
And just so we're clear, lagging more today than they were 5 years ago, which is insanity.
Pick a statistic over the last decade or 2 decades, and you wouldn't have known it then. It was way later that we found out all of these numbers were lagging. So now more than ever with all the confusion of the flu years and whatnot, dude, back to the phrase from last week, everybody's so bent out of shape about everything. Like, look, we all want everybody to be on the same page. We want the information to be accurate. We want everything that everybody's paying for to be fair and whatnot. But, like, simmer down now, as they used to say.
Yeah. And I think it's just one of these things, like, and I'm not a political guy, but politicizing the world as we have has been so destructive.
So much.
To just people shooting the shit and having a conversation and entering into some common sense wait and see moments. If you run a business, and I run a business that we had to have these conversations, whether that's shipping things overseas or whatever, I got news for everybody. If anybody tells you they have it figured out, you and I have people that we know are global operation heads of massive corporations. They don't have it figured out. They're meeting every day about it. The Rivian CEO's like, yeah, we have a whole panel. We watch it day to day. That's their whole job. So Rivian doesn't have it figured out, but Billy Bob on the internet has it figured out. I mean, that's just not that's not really how the world works. You know, you start talking to some real decision makers and they go, we got to see, man. Like it's fluctuating day to day for us. And you go, okay, then that's the conversation. The conversation is, let's talk about what could happen, because that's interesting conversation. But let's talk it with the caveat of, we don't even really know the impact of all of this stuff. And I'm really looking at probably summer of next year before we really know what these car companies are willing to absorb, not absorb, what they're willing to do, not do, what they're willing to bring on shore and not bring on shore. Because again, if you guys think all these factories are coming to the U.S. in 5 minutes, I got news for you. That ain't happening.
Yeah. R.I.P. Billy Bob. Yeah, maybe our kids, might see that, some of that, come to fruition. But let's be real, guys. Like, everybody, relax a bit. Let's revert back, cleanse the palate a little bit. We're talking about Bugatti and I actually got the pronunciation tourbillon. You got to put the YH on there, right? Like the yogging and the yawning, Mr. Ron Burke.
Yeah. Just so everybody knows, I don't take my pronunciation
People
seriously.
Get mad if we don't say it right. We learned that with Jaguar.
And then we learned it with what is it? Taycan.
We've got a lot. Yes, people they shoot arrows if you don't get the name right. I'm like, bro, look.
Just so we're clear, back to the Rivian CEO, he calls it Taycan as well. Fantastic. So look, he seems like a smart guy.
Case in point, shut your face, little trolls on the internet. Look, listen. Fun fact. Well, I mean, I got some fun facts. I wanted to start doing this periodically with some of these stories of like fun facts of the cars or the brand. We were talking about wearables, and I'm so glad I can bring it back full circle. Nick has roasted me, I don't know, a dozen times about my Apple Watch and how it's not.
Yeah, gentleman does not wear an Apple Watch.
Gentleman doesn't wear an Apple. Gentleman needs a timepiece. Okay, so in that world, what are your thoughts on, because what is it? Is it Jacob & Co.? They collaborated on the watch, right, to go along with the car. In that world, what are your thoughts on those kind of watches?
You know what? It's tough for me because there's probably a lot of watch aficionados. I'm sort of an amateur in this world. not anywhere near where some of you are, I'm sure. I'm sure there's a lot of great collaborations going back the last 50 to 100 years.
Sure.
But how I view things like that is just, I'm not super into it. I don't really get excited when they're like, hey, there's this Porsche watch coming out with this new Porsche, or there's this new Bugatti watch that you get when you purchase a Bugatti. That's just not my enjoyment of the watch world. Mine's sort of like, what war was this worn in? I got I got the old Apollo 11 watch on today. Like that kind of stuff interests me. And the other thing is, like, I don't really like watches like you have pulled up here for everybody not watching on YouTube. We got like that stuff just doesn't really interest me, and I really don't like big bulky watches like that. So I would even be less interested.
Look, listen, are you going to buy 2 GT3s or this one watch? Like,
And look, there's some watches, let me be clear, and for all you guys that are into watches, there's some watches that are really great investments.
yeah,
Like they
for sure.
that, like Rolex is sort of like the gold standard. If you buy the right Rolex, you're not going to, you might even at some points outpace the S&P, probably not the entire time you own the watch. So like, but I understand that part of it. It's just not my thing. Like those kind of watches don't excite me. Now, I have some customers of mine that show me some really cool stuff that are in that price point, and I go, man, that's really cool. But it's just not what I enjoy personally.
So, fun fact about Bugatti, too. Established in 1909, I didn't realize it went that far back. Their Type 35, produced from 1924 to 1930, dominated the Grand Prix racing with over 1,000 race wins. Like, that's nuts.
That's nuts. Yeah.
So, this collab, also, I forgot because, I got out of the watch world and jewelry in general. Like, I don't know if you were a big jewelry guy growing up, but, like, I kind of was. And long story short, not anymore. But Jacob & Co., not really his name. If you want to go find out more about him, you should. But like, he's the original guy that was like Notorious B.I.G. Like that's the guy that like really, or that brand pushed like fine jewelry or like jewelry into the music scene, into modern culture.
Yeah, I mean, how do you like Metallica and jewelry? Like, do you go with the Guy Fieri, like, silver with the
100%.
knuckles?
Yep.
Is that your move?
Knuckles, hey, take it easy. Necklaces, yes, because I'm Mexican. It's like a part of our culture. Once you're born, your mother puts like a gold bracelet.
You know what I noticed about a lot of my Mexican buddies is we lean on the culture when it's convenient.
Oh, yeah.
And then we don't lean on the culture when it isn't.
Of
Like
course.
I've noticed. Is that do you guys learn that in school? Is like, hey, when it comes up and you can lean on it, let's make sure we bring it up.
Why do you think my English is this good? You never need to lean to which side of which culture, my man.
I hear you, man. I hear. Hey, look. So for everybody, this is all jokes. You got to say that on the internet now. It's just two guys having some jokes. So let's all take a breath.
Good observation. Nick is very accurate about that too. That is spot on. All right, we're going to shift back into cars here. So we've talked about Amazon being able to sell cars early on. I think earlier this year is when it really started to peak, like February.
Wasn't it Hyundai?
It was, exactly, correct. It was exclusively Hyundai. But now you're going to be able to buy certified pre-owned and used cars from both Hertz and dealerships on Amazon. Now, let that stew for a second, because when I started reading about this, the first thing that came into mind is once Amazon has a foundation to sell used cars, pre-owned, certified pre-owned cars with Hertz and dealerships, imagine how easy it's going to be when Slate and anything that they want to sell of their own is going to be, to roll out to the masses.
It's a good point. It's a good point. Again, let's go back to the, I don't want to keep harping on it, but the Rivian CEO, a very little nugget in his interview was, they're gonna start selling their used stuff at a pretty high level. I don't know how quickly they'll roll that out, but he kind of made the point, as a purely EV manufacturer, if they can bring the car back in, update all the software, and then get it back on the market. And the other thing is that I think he was hinting at, and maybe even said it in his own way, that I found interesting is he also knows how much money's in it.
Oh, yeah.
So one of the things that I think really, really irks these newcomers like Rivian or Tesla or whatever is when they see anybody making money off what they're doing, because they're in that direct-to-consumer model. Mm-hmm. So you could tell it irked him that guys that were reselling Rivians early on were making more money on Rivian cars than Rivian, because Rivian was losing money on every car. Guys were buying the cars, selling them on Cars and Bids, and bring a trailer for more money than they paid. You got to imagine that guy was sitting up at night like, oh, what the
fuming.
Yeah. So what this means is and I don't know how easy this will be to perform, but I mean, these are smart people, right? They'll figure it out, you have to assume, in some level. And so you look at this and you go, what are we really seeing? Well, what we're seeing is that all of you are clamoring about going direct to consumer, and these guys are over here going, well, wait a minute, this secondary used market is where it's at. That's where we can go capture a lot of money. Then he made a really good point. He goes, if we keep them healthy on the secondary market, the more used stuff we have on there, the more people know about our brand. So he doesn't want his cars to die. And let's remember, in the EV space, Rivian's probably doing the best with depreciation. And he talked about how they monitor very closely the depreciation of their vehicles. They think it's a part of them succeeding as a brand. This is sort of Tesla's issue, not caring. This is going to be BYD's issue of not caring if they ever got to the States. Let's just use a hypothetical. The depreciation curve keeps people from believing in your brand, right? So let's think about the strong brand Toyota's built. They've really built it off the depreciation in the used market, not really the strong, sales market on their new cars, although that's a big part of it. Everybody believes in it because of the depreciation curve, right? Mm-hmm. So look at a CEO of Rivian go, yeah, we're going to figure out a way to get ourselves into this used sales market on our own stuff. And that is the next frontier for a company like Rivian that I think is really, really interesting. And now you see Amazon jumping into that, right? Mm-hmm. They find selling a new car for top dollar is probably pretty hard. But if I can get some depreciation, make it seem like a good deal, but make you feel comfortable that it's a used car that's certified and is still protected, that may be an easier sell for some of these companies like Amazon or Rivian directly or whatever. I think it's an interesting next little move that's going to happen here.
What's so interesting, and this is like well beyond the flu years. I mean, when I was younger, in my early 20s, so over, 10, 12 years ago, thinking to myself, like, man, it's really interesting how, and it's not all cars, but some cars you can sell, we'll just use an example, I don't know, like early days like a ZR1 or even now, like you can sell a ZR1, let's go back 5, 10 years ago, for $90,000, $100,000, 5, 6, half a dozen times over. The same car sells for $100,000.
Yeah, I mean, the more common one that we've seen that everybody is more mainstream is look what happened to a CT5V Blackwing.
That's what I was thinking.
It's like a bunch of people just bought them, drove them for a couple years, sold it for about even, maybe even right at even. That's exactly the game plan. And again, if companies like Rivian or anybody, I mean, if Toyota thinks this way, if Ford thinks this way, if they control the depreciation curve by instilling more confidence in their used stuff, that's the benefit of that brand, the people that buy that brand. You become more trusted because of it. That is a severely long-term play.
Yeah.
Like the fact that Rivian's talking about that, and I've said this about Rivian, design is right, they stay in their pocket, they know what they're trying to do. You listen to them, you know that they're focused, and he's a car enthusiast. Mm. Like, this is a guy that I think he used to rebuild Porsches, right? Mm. So this isn't like some Joe Schmo that doesn't care about the car world. And he starts to talk about controlling their depreciation curve. You go, hey, man, that is when EVs become really, really powerful, is when you go, you're not going to lose all your money.
Yeah, and it's like selling anything, right? Whether it's cars or a trinket, depending on what market you're in, if you can sell one thing, great, you have a business. If you can sell one thing to a person and keep selling to that person, and that person brings somebody in because it's so good, and then you start integrating upward, and your brand expands, and it has a whole different meaning than anything you can compare it to. I know we're talking about Rivian, but if you do compare it to Nissan's electric fleet or whatever, it's like, man, what a crazy stark contrast there is in people.
Or compare it to what Porsche's done over the last 10 to 15 years.
Yeah,
I mean he said that Rivian has the highest rebuyers. The repurchasing of Rivian is pretty high.
Yeah.
And you go, high quality, from all accounts, from many people that write into us, and my experience with the brand with some of my customers, if they have a problem, they fix it really fast. They send people out to you. They're not really doing the dealership model. They're doing the service at your door type of model. Mm-hmm. I don't know how long that'll last as they grow. It is scalable.
Yeah.
I mean, as long as you can put the truck on the road, and a technician can come out. It's not like you're changing a bunch of fluids in someone's driveway. You know what I mean? So, I mean, seemingly they can scale that. I don't know to what point that they'll want to do that. They may want a central location a little bit more like in major cities or places where their vehicles are really selling in high volume. But I think this is the exact thing that we don't talk about is the bedrock of the car business is the resale, right? Bringing it back in, reselling it, bringing it back in again, reselling it, bring it back in, reselling it. And that's all been done through auto auctions and smaller regional dealerships. Most of your big dealerships are dumping excess inventory into the auction world, which is now the secondary market, right? If you just follow the line here. If car companies like Rivian, who are already direct to consumer, find a way to control their secondary market, that's a pretty big move for the future of the car business. And look, it's a real nerdy part, right? I mean, this isn't something that's like the most fun to talk about and, this and that. But I mean,
Unless you're in
the
the
fact
business.
the fact that they're actually talking about this and they're going to implement it. Like he talked about it like, yeah, we're gonna figure this baby out. Like we're not gonna keep letting people make money off of us. And I've said this to people, and this is my personal opinion. The previous decade or two, it wasn't about what you owned. It was just a lot of middlemen taking their piece of things in all of the economy. I think the next 10 years is going to be about what the hell do you own?
Yeah.
What do you control? And we got away from that. That's why the American economy is the way it is at this point in time, meaning how it functions. There's a lot of middlemen, a lot of service businesses, this and that. And everybody wanted to outsource. Now companies are starting to realize, oh, wait a minute, the things we outsourced were the profit centers that we could have been running this entire time, and now we're going to own it. And by the way, that's a broad economy perspective that I think you're a guy out there. We get a lot of business questions for some reason. I get a lot of DMs. I think what you own is going to rule the day for the next 10 to 20 years.
Yeah, I think everything, whether it's business or a work conversation with somebody, a leadership, whatever, has to start with like what's the objective. And if you have the clearer your path to the objective, the better you can lay out your road to get there. If it's just make stuff and sell stuff, dude, I mean you're miles away from wherever most objectives tend to be, which is be
Well,
around
and think
all the
about this:
time.
make stuff was outsourced too.
Right? Yeah.
So now just making and selling stuff, you're ahead of majority of the economy because the majority of the economy is just bringing things in, playing the middleman.
Yep.
So the car business has the same exact thing is these car companies are now, Rivian is involved. I made the joke about Scout and Rivian. Well, it turns out, I mean, Rivian's involved in the project, right? I mean, so Rivian cuts this deal with the Volkswagen Auto Group. The Volkswagen Auto Group helps Rivian. Rivian helps the Volkswagen Auto Group. As these companies get smarter, which again, we're a long way from most of these companies operating on the level that they need to today in the quick turn economy. But the better and better they get at it, the more and more the old guard is retiring and the new guard is looking at today and going, I got 25 years left in my career. I can't screw this up. We need to get up to date. We need to do more. We need to do this. You're going to see this change really fast. And obviously, tariffs have sped that up.
Yeah.
I mean, people are now like, what do we control? Right. And instantaneously in the last 6 months, most of my conversations with people are, we don't control enough. We got to start controlling. I mean, you're talking about people who had no problem outsourcing their supply chain, now talking about gobbling up companies in their supply chain, which basically kind of went away. It used to be called vertical integration. That was a big term 20 years ago. That term kind of petered off, and now everybody's back to, we really should have kept control of some of this.
Vertically integrate. That's the
hey chat. How do I vertically integrate this $27 billion business?
Look, let me just say, everybody listening now, you're so lucky to be this early into the podcast, and I don't want to pat ourselves on the back too much, but here's why. And I've said it before, kind of loosely, but when creators or shows rely on the show to make their living, it tends to be molded a certain way. When you are making a living outside of a show and then you create the show, you don't necessarily need to bullshit with your audience because that's not what's making your living. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah, you get to be a little bit more blunt, a little bit more direct, a little bit more not, we see this a lot. If we were to interview the Rivian CEO, which again, I want to say those guys did an excellent job. They really did. We would have pushed him on more things because I'm not reliant and sitting at the Rivian booth during Monterey Car Week.
Right.
I'm not reliant on that.
Yeah.
And those guys are in some ways, right? But they did a great job. But I would have pushed him more on, hey man, what are you guys looking to really control? Because if you're going to keep outsourcing these things, and you don't know the next president coming in, you don't know the next global pandemic, you don't know this, you don't know that. I hear what you're saying, but walk me through why we're not trying to bring things closer to your factory to make your ability to make cars quicker, faster, cheaper. It's under your control. I would just, not that I have the answer, I would love to hear the answers to those questions though. I really would, because I think that would help the consumer. I think the consumer, like he made a great point of why they don't do a lot of things in cars, okay? That many of us don't think about. He's like, look, you do realize you have to worry about projectiles in a car accident. He goes, so all these people want to do these crazy things inside of cars. He goes, they get flushed out because it'll become a projectile during an accident and you just can't do it, right? Like how many of us ever think about that?
Right.
We just don't. Right. And I think that's what's interesting about these guys getting into an hour-long conversation. Any of these CEOs, I would love to have Jim Farley on here and go, okay, man, Model T moment. Come on.
Like, dude, what we need to do in the future is like, as the show continues to grow and it gets like this massive size, but we're not at a booth with these manufacturers or CEOs or whatever. You just walk around with your DJI Mic 2, right? And you're like, hey, can I ask you a question? I'll come around on the other side, kind of like I'm listening into the conversation, be like, hey, do you have another mic? I'd love to just join in on this conversation. And then we just have a podcast without them knowing it's a podcast.
Yeah, but I actually think, and I would be curious what our audience thinks. I think these more candid conversations makes their company stronger.
I agree.
Because I think PR people, and there's a lot of them that have reached out to us and talked to us, and I understand their point of view, don't realize something, that the consumer is ripe for you to tell the truth.
Yeah.
And because you have all of this knowledge that none of us have, right? We don't know what you're dealing with government regulation to the T. But when you tell people, hey, I know you guys want this feature, we want it too, it can't happen. It cannot happen because of this, and this in the regulatory system. All of a sudden, you take those conspiracy theories out of the air and go, here's the truth. But if it's always a soundbite, if it's always a keynote speaking event or something like that, nobody gets to hear your side of the story. And I think your side of the story as car manufacturers is really goddamn interesting. But you got to be willing to go and answer a couple tough questions in an hour. So if you get 3 tough questions, but you get 10 questions that are easy for you to answer, the return that you get is infinite in today's world. I just don't think they see the world that way. And I understand why they don't, by the way. They don't want to get into a gotcha moment or whatever. But I don't think most people like us want to get someone in a gotcha moment. It's like, dude, I'm just curious how the shit works.
Yeah, yeah. Well, to put a bow in the original topic here, which was Amazon. So the Amazon Autos was previously limited to Hyundai, which we mentioned, but now the spokesperson confirmed that participating dealers can now list non-Hyundai inventory. And originally it was going to be limited to California. Like most things are, they were going to be limited to the LA kind of area. But they're going to roll out Hertz vehicles in Dallas, Houston, LA, Seattle, with plans to expand to 45 cities nationwide. So really interesting.
I will say this. Our crowd, be very cautious buying any Hertz vehicals.
Yeah, please. Okay? We kind of talked about it like a week or two ago.
Yeah. Just be cautious. Look, some deals are worth taking the risk. I get it. Other ones, just be cautious.
All right, let's have some. I don't want to be too rude and call it foolishness, but we're gonna have a foolish conversation here. Nick, all right, top 3 small pickup trucks on the market today that you would consider decent picks for a small pickup truck. So not obviously a huge F-150, but like 3. Give me 3 smallish sized ones that you would consider pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, I think you got to go Ranger.
Okay.
Maverick.
Oh, all right.
Frontier.
Oh,
I think Frontier slept on.
We did not plan this, guys. All right, so the 2026 Nissan Frontier gets jazzed up with a new fill-in-the-blank partner that's providing parts in a package for this truck. Who is one of the most unsuspecting partners that the Nissan Frontier could partner up with for a performance vehicle on the Frontier?
Hennessy.
No, but that would have been pretty cool. Kind of close in that world. It's in that world.
What do
I'll
you
give
got?
you one more guess and then I'll pull it up. Just give me another. Come on. Yeah,
They didn't do something with like Fox Racing again, did they?
No, but it's honestly kind of close. We have a Roush Frontier.
I did not see that.
Coming
You're exactly right. I did not see that coming.
Dude, the Frontier Pro FXR. You would think this is a Ford product. Is coming out later this summer.
Damn, that looks good.
It looks really good. Look at, I mean, they have some really good suspension bits and off-road. You know, look at this. This looks
That
like
looks
a Chevy
really.
should have made.
I will once again. I'm going to say this. No one really has their own design language anymore on the truck side of things. Seems pretty like uniform. Right? That just looks like a Ranger at this point.
Yeah.
I mean, looks a little Ranger-esque. But by the way, it looks great.
Yeah.
Okay. It looks great. They did a great job. And again, I think we all should root Nissan on. We don't need Nissan to go bankrupt and be gone. That gives us less choices. We just need them to build better stuff. This is a start. But I've always felt the Frontier was slept on. That's one of those trucks I've just always felt like did a pretty good job. I think it got a little bit, how do you say it, overshadowed by people not believing in the Titan long term. And so the Frontier was like, well, it's just a baby Titan, so I don't want anything to do with it. The Frontier has done pretty well for a long time. Not perfect. I'm not sitting here saying it's like, as dependable as a Tacoma and all that kind of stuff, but it's always been at a fair price point. It's always been, but there's a lot of people that just won't look at a Nissan. And I understand that, but Frontier's always been kind of slept on.
So we're going to get the R badging, fenders, tailgate, new suspension bits, tires, lift, the whole thing, all provided by Roush. And it's something that you can't get through the dealership. Usually when there's partnerships like this, you can get the parts at the dealership. This is something you have to get through Roush, if it's not already on the vehicle when you buy it. Now, what do you think it's going to run? It's later this summer. It's going
to add the package?
No, just the package with it already on the package. So a Frontier Pro FX R.
52.
Wow, little 47.9.
Hey, look at me. Look at Nissan coming up $5,000 short on my guess. Yeah. Good for them.
Yeah.
I mean, look, I think you put tax, title, and everything, I'm right. So let's just go ahead and chalk that one up for Nick.
You're right. Fault me for not saying included. Nick would have been spot on. You're absolutely right.
Yeah, no, what a good price point. Again, I want people to understand you're talking about a special edition of the vehicle. The reason I say that's a good price point because it is a special edition. Should the Frontier be $47,000? We can still have this debate. The answer is no. But if I can get a normal Frontier for $35,000, $36,000, that's a pretty good price point, right? I mean, for what it is, if you can get it pretty well equipped at $35,000, $36,000. These special editions, just like we've seen in the TRD Pro world or any kind of this world, it just is what it is now, man. I mean, there's a $10,000 to $15,000 swing on a $50,000 on a $35,000 car, right, or truck. So, I mean, 35 to 50 being your top end one, that's probably the new normal. That's probably exactly where Frontier is at.
Yeah, and honestly, $43.95, so $4,395 is what the kit kind of cost. When you look at it and you read about the bits, it's kind of pretty reasonable.
Yeah, in today's world, I mean, sub $50,000. What's Ranger Raptor going for? Do you know?
I can pull it up. You want to take a guess? Ranger Raptor, like the newest Ranger Raptor, what do you think it's going for?
That would be like 53, I think.
57.5.
Damn.
Dude,
yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and get a Gen 1 Raptor. I'm not playing with that.
I didn't think it was that high. Well, I guess it's not surprising, actually. Yeah, 2025 MSRP is, roughly, they say. It's not quite exact yet, so it's going to be more like
It depends on that week of sales, like what kind of deal you're going to get on it. Yeah, no, that's a high number. So, yeah, I mean, the Frontier becomes really, really appealing because, again, guys, think of our rule we've shared. When your car's under $100,000, $10,000 difference is a lot bigger than you think.
Dude, it's
those
huge.
$10,000 jumps become very, very costly in the financing, in your resale, and everything. You really need to look at those $5,000, $10,000 jumps as big deals. So if you're talking about, I really could get a Roush, Frontier for 47, and I'm roughly up at 60, 61. On a Ranger Raptor, you should be looking at the Nissan.
Absolutely.
All right, actually, what you should be looking at is used Raptors.
Yeah, I know. I was going to say, let's be real. That's the real answer right there. All right, we're going to swing back over to the EV side. 2026 BMW iX3, a luxurious electric SUV. I love how car driver love you. Worth waiting for. They end almost every article with this vehicle is worth waiting for.
No, it
But
isn't.
I
No,
gotta
it
show.
isn't.
No, it isn't. I gotta show you this. And this, I had to pull it up for one reason only, and I'll get into it in a second. It has one of the craziest features that legit pissed me off. But hey, your favorite.
Oh, it's camo.
It's camo.
I can't tell what car it is.
Can't tell what it is. There's only
By the
two.
way, just for everybody out there that was saying they were cool with the camo and the LFR, they pulled that camo off pretty quick at Monterey Car Week, huh?
Yeah, it did.
I mean, come
It looks
on.
good without the camo. Imagine that.
Yeah. I mean, whoa, you really tricked us that you had a car coming out. Like, okay.
Look, so you're, again, the bigger of the two of us fans of BMW, but this is going to be a whole new architecture, a whole new thing for their EVs. They're going to be able to use it in their hybrids, EVs, gasoline cars. But it kind of just noted one little thing, Nick, that is in this picture right here.
Oh, my God.
Dude, look, there's no gauge cluster. Look what they've done. They've put a 2-inch all the way across the windshield screen from side to side of the bottom.
If that interior is on that car, that's an abomination.
What an atrocity. Now, I'm going to try. Can I switch over to the big one?
Please tell me that. I mean, are they saying this is like the pre-production model?
This is what we are to expect on this
Oh,
car.
my God. For you guys got to go watch on YouTube.
I'm going to pull up a bigger angle of it right here. Is this it? This should be it. Dude.
Oh. What is up with that two-toned interior?
Yeah. Honestly, I was so pissed at the screen non-gauge cluster dash here that I didn't even realize. Look, it's like kind of like corduroy-ish too. Like, and it's got a stupid little steering wheel.
I mean, so for everybody out there that may be more into the tech side of things, I want to ask this question. So I have this massive screen going across the windshield for those of you not watching. It's basically, like you said, a couple inches tall, but it's the whole top of the dash, essentially where my 2003 LX has my night vision. That's right, folks, night vision.
Night vision.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Don't laugh. I mean, there's deer that pops out in front of me while I'm on the Las Vegas Strip. I got it in night vision.
Oh, totally. It's a ton of deer out there.
Yeah, huge deer population on the Strip. But then I have this huge screen down by me as well.
Dude, it's worse than the Volkswagen one from the Golf R. This one actually, it's like the screen from back in the day. It goes and then it like pops up too. So it's away from the dash, and it's elevated, a half away, another 6 inches above the dash.
I'll just ask people,
I can't
if
believe
they could reduce your cost 10 grand on the vehicle, and you just had the simple screen in front of you, and you could cut out the atrocity up by the windshield, I just think 99% of buyers would be like, you mean it's 10 grand off? Great.
I just gotta show
get
it
that
again.
off there. Now, here's the deal. If I open this door, and I don't want to get too graphic with people, if I open this door and I saw this interior, I would immediately vomit on the interior. So they got bigger issues than just the screens. This two-tone interior this is not my BMW. You keep saying I'm a fan of BMW. We got to make sure we understand one another.
This is not my
This
BMW.
This is nothing.
Look
Nothing.
at the thickness on the top portion of the seat is about the thickness of an 80s restroom rug from back in the day. It's a carpeted rug.
Yeah, you remember those like seat covers that were on the top of the toilet, that were like fuzzy? That's what the
Yes.
shit looks like.
Boom.
Okay,
That's exactly
so
it.
let me also make another point. Can you pull that back up for the people that are watching on YouTube?
Absolutely.
Okay. You're being told all of these safety features built in, all of these things are what's running the cost up for these car companies. Why would I make it harder to see out of the windshield if I cared about safety? This is where the whole argument, and again, this is where we talk about, if CEOs really came on a podcast to talk openly, I'd go, hey, we're looking at this. First of all, whoever designed this interior should be fired immediately, Mr. CEO. Secondly, you're telling me it's all about safety, and you're giving me less visibility out of the most important part of the car. I don't see where the argument is there. I mean, I'm looking at this and I'm going, that windshield looks kind of smallish.
As it is, right?
As it is.
Yeah.
Now, again, a photo is a photo, and I might get in it and they go, hey, there's a bunch of greenhouse coming through. You don't understand. Cool. I'd love to hear that. But putting something that visually catches your eye through the windshield, like heads-up display is enough, man. All I need is a heads-up display. Or in my case, night vision in case a deer runs across, right?
Didn't know you drove a Batmobile, but okay.
Yeah, I'm just letting you get. No, that was 2003. I mean, my tech is high level. Rob.
All right.
For everybody out there, we're just having a joke. Got to say that now. But when you look at this, I just don't know how you rectify. We're doing all of this tech to make things safer, but we're going to make it harder for you to see out of the windshield. And when you look out of the windshield, you might actually be more distracted.
I cannot wait to see what this looks like in full production. And if it's anywhere near this, I thought this was satirical. Like I thought some kid, designed like a
You thought somebody
futuristic
used
car.
AI and say, "Hey, make
Yeah,
me the ugliest interior of a
exactly.
BMW you ever could."
Google VO3 or VO4, whatever they're on. Please make me the most dangerous interior with a screen on the windshield itself. Not a heads-up
Yeah, and
display.
I'd be interested to people that listen. Do you think just because you make an EV in your brand that you have to abandon everything that makes you your brand on the interior of the car? I never thought that's what you had to do.
No, but it seems like every brand, car or not, tends to go down that road at one point. I don't know if we want to get into Cracker Barrel because it's not very car related, but people are up in arms about
Somebody
the.
was hold on. Somebody just told me this. What the hell's going on at Cracker Barrel?
Well, their stocks plunging at a 5-year fucking rate in the last 4 days, or last 5 days. I'm gonna say this exactly the way it was sent to me, and we all get jokes here, but they're like, "Dude, did you see the logo for Cracker Barrel?" I was like, "No." They took away the cracker and the barrel. I was like, "Oh my god, this
Hey,
is."
I mean, look, it's just another Mexican American making fun of people. I don't know what you're doing here, Rob. I mean, we just
I'm,
it offends me.
I'm
I mean,
gonna
it
pull the
offends
Jay
me.
Gillis where he tells a joke. He's like, "Oh, like, oh, who's gonna get it first?" Oh,
So
yeah.
is that all they did was change the logo, or are they like changing the stores?
No, they're changing the stores, everything, dude. So,
Oh, that's a bad move.
I
By the
know,
way, Cracker Barrel is literally packed everywhere out here
I
because we don't
know.
have many of them. They're always packed.
So
Like,
yeah, the CEO, I guess I don't know if it's new CEO, whatever. She was on like on the morning show talking about how we're gonna
oh,
keep.
I already
Oh,
got it.
I know, dude. Exactly on the
I
morning
already got
show.
it.
Gotcha. Michael Strahan's like, really? Oh no
Yeah.
way, right? We're
Yeah,
keeping a lot of the
guy can't
feel.
get his teeth fixed. I'm not really, don't really need to hear your thoughts on CEOs of Cracker Barrel. Sorry,
Dude,
bud.
all I got to say is, again, if you guys want to go watch some of the videos of this whole debacle, it's hilarious. I think the first couple of photos of what the new concept's going to look like versus the old concept, they tried to keep it somewhat similar with some of the aesthetic, but I mean, it's a whole new thing.
They're packed though. What do you need to mess with
Crazy.
being packed?
It's
I mean, being
crazy.
crowded is the whole goal. You're already crowded. Now, many of you guys may live in places that have like 15 or 20 or 30 Cracker Barrels, maybe they're seeing. But I'm telling you what, out here, next to this huge, we have something out here called the Silverton Casino, and they have like one of the biggest Bass Pro Shops you've ever seen in your life, and they have this boat thing, and then there's a Cracker Barrel. Buddy, when you're driving on the freeway, you can see the Cracker Barrel. The line's always out the door. I mean, it doesn't matter when you go buy the thing. Like, I don't know what it's like in the rest of the country. I mean, people can probably inform me. I'm not a big Cracker Barrel expert, but I'm just saying, like, do you really need to just make some good food? This is what we say in the car business all the time. Just make good stuff. You'll be fine.
That's all you
Your logo becomes irrelevant if your shit's good.
Listen, I get sent some really conspiratorial stuff, and somebody was like, "Well, it's official." And this is, trust me, this is probably not true, but it might be. Their goal was to decolonize Cracker Barrel. I was like, if this is true, I swear I'm gonna freak out.
Yeah,
So
well,
that's what
here we are. BMW not doing interiors well, and Cracker Barrel ending its run.
who I did not have either one of those on my on my bingo card for 2025, but again, here we are. Oh, what a ride! What a whirlwind it has been this week. Speaking of, you did bring up the LFR. I think in the video that we posted probably about 2 weeks ago, you said, "Let's hope that they keep it true, right, to the original, to the LFA, with the drivetrain and all that." It's officially gonna be a V8 hybrid, which I think you said in the video. Let's hope they don't make it a hybrid, but
Yeah,
of
we're
course, I
here.
think we knew that. We knew that.
Yeah.
So here's just the shot that we have on the front page of Car and Driver this week, which. It looks good. We saw it, in real person, and it's cool. But
Look, man, I mean, they did a good job with LC 500. Doesn't matter whether you like the car or you like the brand. LC 500 was done well. LFA, I get it. Some of you guys may like it, may not like the design of it. I like the design of it, especially if you see it in person enough. The design's great. I mean, in this part of the Lexus brand, they tend to do very well. I mean, the ISF and all those types of car. I mean, they've always done this part of the market pretty well on a design. Now we all got to say, what's it going to sound like? What's it going to drive like? who's it really going after? And I want to prepare people. I have a lot of people that go, if it's not $100,000, they're not going to sell it. It's like, guys, when they do these types of projects, it doesn't matter the car company. This isn't a car company that's heavily invested in sports cars, meaning like that's not where their money comes from. A lot of this is looked at internally as a special project, as a sort of halo effect of we have this cool thing. I mean, they're not building LC 500 because they're making, 8 billion of them a year. They just want to have it. They want to be like, hey, we still have this. We're still in this world. And now it's all about how they integrate the hybrid system, because as we've seen, that can go great and that can go poorly. And there seems to be very little in between. So I think you have to give them the benefit of the doubt because they've done this well before. And LC 500 is still done extremely well. Again, regardless, if you've never driven one, it's a good experience. It's a nice interior. It's a hell of a sound coming out of there. You're talking about it has heritage of just a good sports car. The question I have is, are they using this for anything other than just saying, we're here, we're still in the mix, but that's about it? And that feels like probably what this is.
Yeah, because some people in the comments of some of the articles, were making good points where like, they haven't done something like this in a long time, like a decade plus. And then when you have things like the GTD and what Corvette's doing, like you clearly aren't going to be competing with them, if we're being honest, right? With the car and the price. So again, like you just said, is it just to be in the mix, to be like, hey, don't forget about us, we're still doing this every once in a while?
Yeah, I mean, you look at it, Acura did NSX. Lexus could have seen it and said, hey, it's kind of time for us to do, let's get back to that LFA. Some of this stuff, I wonder, I don't wonder, I think sometimes it's just a pet project.
Yes.
They're like, hey, we want to do it. We got the money. We'll sell them, and it'll kind of provide this little cool halo on part of our brand, and we're still around, and we're flexing our muscle a little bit that we can still do this. And there's a lot of ego involved in running a business, right? So the car companies are no different. GTD is obviously a complete reaction to C8.
Yes.
And they just wanted to say, hey, we can flex our muscles too. They didn't really care that they were $100,000 more. They just wanted to show that they could flex their muscles a little bit.
Hey, if you're new to the show, we used to do this little segment where we would go to Low Miles, No Miles on Instagram, which has grown tremendously over the last 6 months that we've been doing the show. Good for them. I had something sent to me, and I wanted to show you because we haven't done one of these in a long time. And I'm not going to play the audio because there's music playing behind it, but I'll just play the video. Look at this. 86 Ford Aerostar, 39,000 original miles.
Yeah, buddy.
Bro, look at this interior.
Look at that. Look at that gauge cluster.
Yeah, Knight Rider style. Look how
By the way, if you guys were around during the Aerostar time and you had one in your family or whatever, you definitely slammed your hand in that sliding door somewhere.
You think so?
Back. Oh, I know that I did. I was young when my family had an Aerostar, 100%. Because here's the thing: once that thing got running downhill, there wasn't anything stopping it.
That's so funny. So 39,000 original miles. It's for sale for $11,995. You can get a lot worse car for $11,900.
No question. We say this all the time. When people are like, "Hey, you can't get a good car under 20." No, you can't get a new car for under 20. But you can get. We showed an Astro van at one point that was like what 35, 40,000 miles, and it was like 12 grand.
Yeah, if that.
It's like no offense. You can get a lot worse.
Now, I can't say what the person that sent it to me said they would do with this van. So I want you guys to send us an email, clutchculturepodcast@gmail.com, to let me know what would you do with this van.
Well, thinking of your background, are we talking lowrider?
Hey, no, it wasn't lowrider. No, it wasn't lowrider. Much more dudes in the garage talking about this kind of stuff. So, hey, if you want to send us actually, you know what? Send this to your friend and see what they would do with it, and then tell us what they say.
Shaggin' wagon.
Dude, but in much different words.
100%.
In much different words.
I'm guessing it was 2 B's, if everybody knows what I'm talking about.
Good times. All right, let's get to a listener question, actually. And if there's time, we'll get back to one more article. But I'm going to read this exactly the way it was written to us. So Evan wrote in and said, first off, all caps, I fucking love this podcast. Thank you, Evan. Thank you very much. He says thank you. I have a question. I hope you could talk about it on the podcast. What's the best way to keep a black SUV clean under the following conditions? Parked outside, hard water, addressed with the hard water addresses with the ceramic coat. Maybe I read that wrong. Sorry, maybe you wrote that wrong. He's got 3 black vehicles. I had a
Oof.
black 3rd gen TRD Tacoma, recently totaled. Now black Land Cruiser 250. Wife has a black 4Runner, all parked outside in the driveway. Thanks. Keep doing the good work. Dude, this stops. You have a black car. You love black cars.
Yeah.
It stops me from getting a black car. Like the
Yeah.
maintenance.
No,
Keeping it clean.
it's a. I don't think the vast majority of people should own a black car.
I agree.
I think it's doesn't hide anything, and if you're not meticulous, I mean, I got to do a lot of work on my BMW to get it to my standard just on a black vehicle that I just haven't pulled it in the shop to do. There's a very simple answer, and it's more of a modern answer that maybe some people have heard of that obviously are really into detailing their own car, but many people don't know about, and it's called rinseless and waterless washes. Essentially what I would do here, since you have hard water, it's probably really not worth you getting a huge RO or deionized system installed, which I have. I have spot-free water in my shop and things like that. And it's a heavy cost, and so I wouldn't go that route. But you can grab a few gallons of distilled water, just have it delivered, whatever. Put a gallon in a bucket, put some rinseless and waterless solution in a bottle and in a bucket, and wash your cars right there in the driveway. You can go to HyperClean store. We show you how to rinseless and waterless wash. But for many of you, you're in an apartment, you're in a condo, you live in a place like Philly or New York or downtown LA, and you're battling this stuff, or you're living somewhere where you go, dude, my water's so hard. Anytime I go to wash the car, get some distilled water. I think it's like 80 cents a gallon or something like that at the store. Yeah. You can have them delivered off Amazon, I'm sure. Put it in a bucket, clean bucket, couple towels. We show you how to do it. Go the rinseless and waterless route. On our site, it's called Eco One, if you guys want to check it out. But that's actually how we care for car collections, okay? Because most car collections, the cars aren't being moved, right? So you have to find a way to actually wash the car in place while not making a mess in somebody's, $10 million garage, right? Yeah. Like you got to be real cautious about that. So we actually use, for any of you that know, we use a keg sprayer, and we wet the car down lightly with this solution, and then we use towels and things like that to not scratch the vehicle and keep them looking good. Very viable, very modern-ish technology. It's been around a long time, but I think the average consumer doesn't know it's there. You don't need traditional soap is not the only way to wash a car, okay? There are new solutions for people right in this world. You can do it right in your driveway. You'll be fine. Look, man, the more you work in direct sunlight, the more it's going to be a headache for you. So, if you can pull it into a shaded spot on your street, or you got something like, hey, the sun goes down at this time and, my driveway's completely, or the sun moves and my driveway's completely shaded, just wait for some shade. If you can't, you can't. You can still do it in the sun. But I want everybody to know, like, it can become troublesome, and any type of washing of your car sucks in the sun compared to if there's a little bit of shade.
I just got a red, white, and blue, like legit United States flag canopy, so that I can get the GTI under it and do some washing myself, because it's so much sun out here in Central Texas. And it's a great way to go. Otherwise, you have to wait, like Nick said, to the end of the day, and sometimes you don't have that time when the sun's down, so you got to try to get it in where it fits in.
Yeah, and look, and don't be scared to do it in the sun. I'm not saying you can't. I'm just saying you'll have to do less at a time, work quicker. Yeah, all very doable. I mean, look, we're in Vegas. If we have to pull cars out, we do it in the sun all day. But we also have a process that's 20 years old to be able to handle that.
I can't quite do Nick's process yet. I'm familiar with it, but like the speed at which you can move around a vehicle, especially like those Raptors or whatever, I'm like, Jesus Christ, like that takes some, like you got to know which step you're about to go, like 2 steps ahead in order
just
to
like anything you guys do out there for a living. If I went and tried to do it, I'd be a mess. It's just, that's all. It's just time. But that's the route for you, man. It'll change your life.
Thanks, Evan, for writing it in. Again, if you guys want to write in, clutchculturepodcast@gmail.com. Last thing I had sent to me, I was going to mention earlier when we were talking about Amazon and the used cars and certified pre-owned. So somebody sent me a video. It's a lady walking around her driveway, and the caption is just, I hated my brand new Telluride so much that I traded it in just 4 weeks or 4 days later. And then it pans to her walking around a brand new Traverse, which in my opinion, that's a bad upgrade, quote unquote.
Yeah, it's more of a lateral move.
Yeah, well, yeah, I guess so. But how much do you think somebody like that loses on a brand new car going from new car to new car in 4 weeks or 4 days? It may have been
10.
Dang. And those Tellurides, as it is, have ruined a lot of people in the last couple of years.
Yeah, we talked about it. I mean, there's people that paid 80 grand for a Telluride, went in to trade it in, and it was worth 43. I mean, those are real stories that took place. I mean, that's not a joke. That's not a hyperbole. That's not any of that. Like, that actually happened. I would say you're probably somewhere $5,000 to $10,000. I mean, realistically. And again, for anybody that bought a Telluride or a Palisade, I put these in the same category, which is those companies did an excellent job cashing in on the mid-sized SUV and upping their game from a design perspective. I don't think they upgraded everything, though.
Yeah.
So you still get the Hyundai experience, the Kia experience. It just looks nicer. And I've shared this before. I mean, I know somebody with a Palisade who was ecstatic about it when they bought it, and they should be. And I hear the same story, doesn't matter if it's this person or 5 other people, as the interior's falling apart.
Yeah.
And I go, yeah, I mean, that's who that brand is. And they can fix that. Don't get me wrong, you can fix that. But I haven't seen the necessary investment in quality to fix what those cars age like. Now, obviously, this woman didn't get to the aging part. She goes, I bought this car. Now, had she gone on a thorough test drive of that Kia Telluride, she probably wouldn't have purchased it.
That's what I was waiting for. I was going to say, I bet you this lady did not test drive it, just made her husband go, like, I like the way that looks, sign the papers, let's go.
Yeah, or my friend has one, it looks really good.
Right.
I mean, that's a majority of the market now, and people don't believe me. But we've had, what's his name, Bins and Bow Ties, talking about how people aren't test driving cars. He's on the dealership lot every day. We aren't.
Yep.
But it's what I see. I mean, it's what I see in the limited people I go, guys, go test drive that thing before we put an offer in.
It's so crazy.
And it doesn't matter. By the way, this spans all wealth classes.
Yeah.
You're seeing people that this is a massive financial decision for, and you're seeing people that it's not even a financial decision. All of them, for some reason, are alienating driving the car before they buy it.
Dude, we're going to wrap up after this, everybody. We had a get-together over the weekend. Brother-in-law, one of the brother-in-law. I've said brother-in-law a couple of times. I have a few of them, right? So one of them, I just found out over the weekend, has never test-driven any of the cars he's purchased. And his justification is that he typically buys, like, lesser expensive kind of dailies, and then if it's just kind of something that appeals to him, he just buys it. And some of the times he has not liked the way this car drives, but still refuses to test drive the cars. It blew my mind, made me kind of mad, and I kind of wanted to tell him to leave.
Well, yeah. What's the argument?
There is none. You're retarded. I don't care if you listen to this. You're retarded. I'd tell him in his face, like, what do you? I couldn't. And
what's the argument?
There was no justification, rationalization. It was just like, I just don't want to. I don't want to go test drive. I'm just not going to do it.
Yeah, no. So this is a real thing. There are people that just like feel like they can't be bothered.
It was very much that.
I mean, you kind of deserve what's coming to you.
Yeah, pretty much, right?
You know what I mean? Like, that's what I say to people. Like, I'd say that to anybody listening to this. Like, if you tell me it's not worth you taking 15 minutes and test driving the car, and then you tell me about your bad experience at the dealership, it's like, brother, sorry, man, I can't be on your side on this one.
The nonchalantness of it was just mind-blowing to me, because we know how important that is in any car buying process, whether you're, spending 10 or 70. Like, you got to test drive the car.
Yeah, and you'll hear cracks and creaks and things when you test drive. By the way, I don't know if I told anybody this. Maybe I need to be more specific. Do not turn the radio on while you're driving the car. Okay, you can test the stereo system sitting in the parking lot.
Yeah.
But you're really doing the test drive to go, okay, what's it feel like? Do I like the ride? You're also listening.
Yeah. How many rattles does it have already?
Yeah, and again, I don't know how people are with sounds in their car. I'm sure I'm a little bit OCD about this. But I have 2 jump seats in the back of the Lexus. When you got to tie them up to the handle to keep them. I hear anything in my car, I'm like, what's that?
Dude, I'm the same way.
What's going on?
I'm the same way.
Now I think I'm a little scarred from the BMW bings and dings.
Yeah.
That now, like, I hear anything, I'm like, is my car overheating? What's going on? I'm looking at the gauges. I'm probably scarred a little bit from some of the cars I've purchased. But guys, I can't say this enough. Whether you think I'm an idiot or not, or you think I'm smart or not, just test drive the car.
Dude, real quick, that reminded me. I got the low windshield wiper sound on the other day. I legit, my heart stopped. I think I blacked out for half a second and came back. I thought I had my first dash light. I was like, no.
Yeah. I'm telling you, if you've ever owned a car that you loved, and you got the dings on that car, you've never recovered from it.
No.
Never. Like I had a BMW severely overheat, and I thought it would crack I couldn't like get off to get this thing to like safety where I wouldn't get clipped by 100 cars real quick.
Right.
And I'm like, oh my God, it's gonna crack the block. Oh, I'm gonna ruin it. And I'll never recover from that. I will be 80 years old, hopefully, like worried about every sound, every ding, it doesn't matter how new the car is. It doesn't matter how nice the car is. It doesn't matter how much I know there's not a problem. I hear anything. And I'm like, what's going on? Huh?
Well, you know what? Lucky for you, when you're 80, your BMWs will all have screens at the bottom of the windshield, and they'll just drive themselves, maybe even fly or hover themselves to safety, and that's the world we're going to live in.
Yeah, and I can jump potholes like BYD does. You know what I mean? Like, we'll be good.
You do it twice, it's going to void your warranty, kind of like the GTRs. Like if you use the nitrous, I think it was, like it void the warranty. Or the old like Celine Focus that Ford made.
Yeah,
like, you can't use this, otherwise it voids your warranty. All right, everybody, we gave you a little bit longer extra episode this week. Follow us everywhere at Clutch Culture Pod on the socials. And Nick is at HyperClean Store, of course. I'm at RobGTV. Nick, we'll see everybody next week.
See you guys.